Welcome to this month's installment of Atlanta Fire's Training Regiment. Today we'll be covering the 360 update. The 360 update is usually the next transmission of information from command after the BIR. And just like the BIR, a good 360 update is critical to a successful outcome. Think of the 360 update as confirming and updating your BIR and then adding the critical factors for the incident. For this block, we'll be using 1 and 2 story single families. Keep in mind this is an abbreviated, simple class, just the first step in becoming proficient. We've also included some wordy updates. This is to demonstrate all the ways possible of passing along the information. Practice and find what works best for you. Between 2014 and 2015, of the 293 Maydays from 264 departments, a 360 was completed less than 21% of the time in the first 5 minutes of a unit arriving on scene. More than 90% of the time, a Mayday occurs to one of the first 3 companies to arrive on scene. The 360 update is a little hard to break down into small bites. To do a good 360 update, you must be able to confirm your building, your conditions and mode and phase, all the while looking for critical factors. You must be able to multitask while walking around the building. Most of the time your BIR will be spot on. When it is, you will simply confirm by restating your information. If you find something different, you must update the changes to all the other incoming units. By always starting your update with confirming your BIR, you will be jogged to make changes when you need to. Here's a quick review of the BIR and what to look for in confirming and updating your incident. One of the critical factors for the building that is often not updated is the number of floors. If the building is mis-ID'd and not correctly updated, it could be one of the hardest things to overcome on the fire ground. If we are not correct on the number of floors, there will be confusion on the fire ground. Firefighters will be unsure of what floor to go to in the building, and if there's a Mayday, which floor to confirm the Mayday is located on. Conditions, are they what you thought you had? Is the fire still in the Alpha Bravo corner, or is it actually down the entire Bravo side? Is it on more than one floor? Mode and phase. Do you need to change the mode and phase? Are conditions worse or better than you first thought? Here's some critical factors for the building. One of the first things you should look for are signs of victims or entrapments. Of course, there are the classic signs: toys in the yard, cars in the driveway, but always try to think bigger picture. Are there wheelchair ramps? Is it the summertime and kids are out of school? Is it the holidays? Listen to bystanders. Oftentimes, they will be your best source of information. Also, prior calls to the location. Is this a rooming house? Does it have in-home child or elderly care? Also, some victims will self-extricate, so look for them as you're walking around the building. Points of entry. We can't be heroes if we can't get in. We can't save ourselves if we can't get out. Look and see if there's any extra security on certain doors or windows. Burglar bars on the windows, both interior and exterior. Burglar doors are also an issue. Lots of times they'll only be on the Alpha side. Enter closest to the fire as possible. But also consider why you're stretching. Are you stretching to protect lives or to protect property? Utilities, are they there? Are there more than one? Just because the building is missing utilities doesn't mean the building is vacant. The building may be converted from gas to all electric, or maybe people simply aren't paying to stay there. Always locate the service line. The service line almost always will be a hazard on fires. Look for any add-ons, awnings, overhangs that could be an issue. And look and see what the building is sitting on: a crawl space, a slab, or a basement. On your conditions, is the fire where you originally thought? Is it on the same floor? Is it extending to exposures, internal and external? Did it appear to be on the Alpha Bravo corner, but in reality the basement is well involved and it just burned through the first floor? We need to update that and change our point of entry. Do you need more help? Fire on 2 floors is a cue for a second alarm. The smoke. Just like with the BIR, describing the smoke can get wordy at times. Does the smoke match the container and the fire conditions? If so, it may not be that important to mention. But the smoke is brown, black, churning, heat-driven smoke. Most of our bad events on the fire ground start off with a sudden heat-driven event. The smoke could be a cue for that event. Remember, smoke is unburnt fuel. We do not want to crawl through unburnt fuel. Just like with the BIR, a good 360 gives the incoming units the idea of their assignments on where they're going to be performing them. On another note, smoke rises and does not go down till it fills the container. If there is smoke below where you think the fire is, you have fire below you. It's worth ensuring that fire is controlled before crawling over it, even if that means you don't get the amount of fire that you want. Always confirm your mode and phase when you do your 360 update. Did you choose the correct one? Do you need to change it? If so, it's no big deal. Just announce it on your 360 update over the TAC channel. If you have more fire than you thought, or conditions are not as safe as you thought, for example, the floors are burned through, the building is unstable, simply switch to defensive. If the fire is not as bad as you first thought, then simply go back offensive. The fire was only in the front room and not in the whole building as you first thought. So let's put it all together. So engine 7 to all incoming units, 360 is complete. We're confirming we have a 2-story wood frame single family on a crawl space. The fire is in the Alpha Bravo corner, 2nd floor. We're still offensive mode rescue phase. Critical factors are wheelchair ramp on the Delta side and burglar bars on the 1st floor. Here's some additional information that you can add as you get more proficient. Whether or not you secured a water supply, what size line are you pulling, where you're making entry, and any other pertinent information you may have noted on your 360. So let's take a minute to remember that your 360 update is really looking at the big picture. What are some cues that you see to let you know this is not a normal 1-story single family? Did you notice the 2 service lines coming into the roof? What about the 2 mailboxes next to the front door? As you walk around the building, here's the Bravo side of the same house. Notice that there's 4 power meters, more gas meters. There's a window instead of a gable vent. The vents on the side of the house obviously show that there's knee walls, which means the attic's been converted into a 2nd floor. When you get around to the Charlie side, the building's actually on a basement. There's several points of entry and egress. We should go ahead and assume that the interior is going to be cut up. Also, note the roof has been altered to accommodate the 2nd floor. Even without the gable vents being changed and the window being added, we should go ahead and assume this is have a 2-story frame once we get to the Charlie side. When you get to the Delta side, same thing with the window vents or the windows and the gable vents. It's on a basement. There's several points of entry, and we can still assume the building's going to be cut up. All of this came from the simple 1-story frame that turned into be a 2-story on a basement multifamily. This building is not unique in the city of Atlanta. It's actually located in Summerville neighborhood, which is in 2's first alarm. Basically, good luck and keep practicing. We're going to go to the Fire Studio 6 and actually give some demonstrations of BIRs and a good 360 update. For the second part of this training, we're going to practice our BIRs and we're going to add in a 360 update. So remember, we're going to follow the same model: building, conditions, and mode and phase. So let's start off with this picture here on this house here. Our BIR for this would be fairly simple. Take a minute, follow the building, conditions, mode, and phase. I'm going to give you around 15 seconds and think about what your BIR would be. So for this building here, it would be engine 7's on the scene, 123 Smith Street, 2-story wood frame single family, fire throughout the Alpha side on the 2nd floor. Engine 7's out doing a 360. Now for this 360, we'll go Alpha Bravo Charlie, Delta, back to the Alpha side. Remember, as we're walking around, not only look for the location and extent of the fire, but look for points of entry, signs of victims, means of egress, utilities, and any other hazards that you see as you're walking around the building. So here's the Bravo side. Some of our critical factors for this, you note that there's no utilities on the building, no electricity on the building. The fire still appears to be just confined to the second floor. On the Charlie side here, pretty much confirmed the fire is throughout the second floor. And we have plywood on the windows and doors. And here's the Delta side. Same with the plywood, that would be a critical factor. Another critical factor could possibly be the exposures. And we're back around to the Alpha side. So our 360 update would sound something similar to this. Engine 7 to all incoming units, 360 is complete. I'm confirming we have a 2-story wood frame on a crawl space. We have fire throughout the second floor on all 4 sides. We're still offensive mode rescue phase. Critical factors for this building would be plywood on the Alpha, Charlie, and Delta side, first floor, no utilities to the building. Of course, we can add more as we get more comfortable with whether or not we secured a water source, what size line we're pulling, and where we're making entry. But that simple BIR is extremely helpful to the battalion chiefs and other incoming units as far as protecting their assignments and having a successful outcome. We're going to take a look at one more Studio 6. So here's another building. We're going to take 15 seconds again. Think about your BIR, building, conditions, mode, and phase. All right, so here's our BIR. Engine 7's out 328 Smith Street. We have a 1-story wood frame single family. We have fire showing Alpha side. Engine 7's out doing a 360. So as we start walking around our building, notice that there's no gas meter on the front of the house. As we round the corner, we see the fire is actually on the Alpha Bravo corner. We walk around, here's the Charlie side. Note that there's plywood on all the doors and windows. Note that the fire is also located in the Alpha Bravo corner, but we do have heavy smoke throughout the building. When we're back around to the Alpha side, now the entire Alpha side is involved. So our 360 update would be Engine 7 to all incoming units, confirming a 1-story wood frame single family on a crawl space. The fire is now throughout the Alpha side. We have heavy smoke throughout the building. We're still offensive mode rescue phase. Critical factors for this building would be no utilities, plywood on all 4 sides of the building, windows and doors. This concludes our 360 update class. The 360 update is a vital component to a successful outcome of the incident. Remember, follow the building, conditions, mode and phase model, and then just follow up with any critical factors. As you do more BIRs and more 360 updates, it will become easier and automatic. Once you get to that point, you can add more information. Please practice and find what works best for you. Take this information, use it, and continue to grow as a firefighter and future officer.